Hey, welcome back. Yes, all right, already.
John, what's with these shorts?
It's a free-for-all Friday now. You're watching Liquid Lunch. The way the studio used to be set up on Fridays, when I'm trying to leave after work and play, hopefully, a round of golf, I wore shorts with my suit and tie, and then so that I can get out quicker and make it to the course. But now with the new desk and the new table and all the great things Network's doing for us here, obviously I can't do that anymore because Steve in the control room there is, for some reason, starting the segment on my legs to point out that I'm not wearing a full suit.
Hey, I think you look good. It's certainly when it's this hot out.
I can't keep them flexed for that long, so give me a heads up in my ear when you're going to go to them so I can flex them. Otherwise, they look like toothpicks.
I think you look good.
Thank you, Frank.
So, John, an interesting report in the New York Times today that apparently President Obama actually tried to talk Joe Biden out of running for president in 2020. Now, this is pretty interesting because President Obama and Joe Biden have always been thought to be pretty close. And in 2016, he sort of quietly pressured Joe Biden not to run. Apparently, they had a whole sit-down, dozens of sit-downs, and he told him in words or substance, you don't have to do this, Joe. But apparently, Biden decided to run.
Yeah, and, you know, let's not take things too far here. When Frank's talking about Biden running, he's going to be 77 years old. The guy is limping right now in this race. And I've been saying for a few weeks that, you know, Joe is limping into the debate and Joe's limping into the controversy. And I don't know if you noticed, but little bits and pieces of Liquid Lunch are getting picked up by President Trump. You know, this morning I heard him say that Joe's limping onto the stage. Last night when he was in New Hampshire, he said Joe limping up on the stage. So he must be hearing me say that.
Well, we know the president's a regular Newsmax TV viewer.
Yeah, and we had on John Rourke the other day. And I'm reaching out to him, see if we can get him on today. But he brought a garbage truck, if you remember, up to Baltimore with Operation Clean Up Baltimore. A whole bunch of volunteers, professional sanitation men. And they went out and they scooped up like 12.5 tons of garbage off the streets. And the president retweeted the story about the trash man, John Rourke. So he must have seen it on, you know what I mean? Like, hey, something's happening out there. He's starting to stalk us.
I don't know about that, but it's certainly good that he's watching. And today, apparently, he's meeting with his top security officials about how to handle these peace negotiations with the Taliban. So coming up next hour, we're going to actually talk with Colonel Daniel Davis, somebody that's a seasoned veteran, a decorated veteran, and who has some interesting insight into the situation in Afghanistan. But top story of the day so far, at least the top story of the hour, has to be Rashida Tlaib saying thanks but no thanks to the Israel visit. She's claiming the Israeli government wanted to put too many hoops and too many bells and whistles on her and too many restrictions on her visit to Israel. So she's saying no thanks. I do have to say, I think it is a mistake for the initial response from Netanyahu and the Israeli government to prohibit these congressmen. I think there would have been no better message to the world to welcome them. Yeah, we're welcoming even people that are critical of them. Yep. I understand they have this law 2 years ago which considers supporters of the BDS movement opponents of Israel. But I think to prohibit elected members, democratically elected members of Israel's closest ally from visiting there, it just doesn't look good.
No, and you know, I said I'm with you. It was a little ticky-tacky on Netanyahu and probably Trump. Trump was probably behind it. It was a little ticky-tacky on their part. But when they realized the mistake and say, hey, we made a little mistake, you know, we understand. We want you to be here. And then you can't take the high road. You got to take the low road and say, no, now we're not coming.
Right.
That's like how family disputes start. And then people don't talk for like 15 years.
Well, and the other story we're following, John, is a New York City subway station essentially being shut down because somebody placed 3 rice cookers there. Now, we don't know whether this was a prank, whether this was a test of NYPD readiness, but apparently, according to Deputy New York City Police Commissioner John Miller, they have video and photos of the suspect placing these rice cookers, and evidently he was described as a tall, thin, light-skinned man wearing jeans and a blue T-shirt with a soccer ball image on the back.
Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein.
Well,
Sounds like a description of Jeffrey Epstein. It might have been him to create a distraction so he can get away.
you have predicted that.
You know, I'm telling you, I think he could still be alive. No, all serious. Sometimes terrorist groups, they do these things as a test run, as a dry run, to see what the response will be. So let's not just say they're all somebody left 3 rice cookers there. Let's get to the bottom of it. And we're getting to the bottom of this show, but we're getting to the top in the next hour right after this. Quick break. Back